Oh yeah. So what's up? Um. Yeah, I'm actually looking like a ninja. Anyway, uh, feeling a bit. How do I feel? Let me try and describe the feeling. Um. Well, I'm feeling a bit easy now, much more than I did when I slept because I slept. I went to sleep for like I think about an hour or so. But before that, I was really pressed. I guess I still have a lot of toxins in my gut. Uh, and yeah, it's still just a conditioning, so it's all right. Yeah, I'm just learning what I need and what I don't need and stuff like that. And yeah, so I took some lemonade. The lemonade actually works through that stuff, and it's like it's really pressing the toxins to like it's almost wanting to flush out everything that I had in my stomach and then in my gut. And then like the stuff in my gut, the toxins are like fighting not to get out. So it's like a battle. That battle like made me feel really uncomfortable. But I didn't resort to doing any surgeries or what do I how do I say affirmations or prayers or anything like that. I didn't break any covenants or something like that. I just chilled, you know, and try to see how like a normal person who doesn't do surgeries or who doesn't do these funny prayers or break covenants like they would like have and feel, you know, in my position actually. Somebody who's trying to condition themselves and they are just using the conditioning, like solely the conditioning, how they would feel. And it doesn't feel good. You want to I think a normal sound person would have probably gone to the hospital and that would have resulted in filling up with this chemical medication, and which is not very good. So what I what another pressing matter that I had about talking about before I sleep, because I actually switched off my phone to sleep, because when I switch off the phone I sleep much better than when I have the phone on, you know. Um, it passed my mind, but it's alright. But that actually doesn't matter. What matters is that to keep the mind, there is something about keeping the mind healthy. It's like when you believe so much, you create this power in you. It's like it's like you start separating yourself and the things that you say actually. It's like there was things that I was doing. When we do shadow work and when we do light work, when you have to catch your light codes, and then when you have to do shadow work, and then when you have to go back in time and actually heal yourself and be your own best friend. You understand me? And like every one of those motherfuckers who have always been like eyeing you and like just because you are not on your A game, like you are on your A game, but because you're not woke, then they get to take advantage. You understand? They get to like, you have this massive progress. You're like the greatest of all time. And now because of that, because you're not woke, they get to like how do I say, like take up most of that progress, and then they keep like bets on you. You just see or recognize, or you just sort of see some certain little signals that they do, and they are just trying to like lock onto your progress or lock onto whatever you are saying. And this is just like because like nobody. And I was watching interviews today, earlier, like Ashe's interview, Michael Jackson interview, Chris Brown interview, and there was also another interview by Tupac that I skipped because I watched it before. And Sadhguru was talking about love. Now, these interviews, one that caught me was Chris Brown, the way he was saying. Okay, Ashe also talked about it a little bit, but Chris Brown too. It's like you want to be careful, you understand me, about like who you help, because like your best friend can be your best friend now, and then later it's like they do something else. They have amnesia. Like everybody out here has amnesia, which is the forgetful syndrome. Like you held them 1,000 billion times, or like you're actually really really valuable to them, and then there'll be that one time that you're like no, you know, like you can't do it, or like you're in your growing phase and you just like are not about to like bend over for that, and then for that reason they turn against you, you know. And then you have this natural nemesis, you know. Those ones are easy to notice. It's like, yeah, this person, ever since they've been introduced in my life, they've just been like to lock onto my goodies and take anything that they've ever given was to be taken back with interest. So it's like that kind of thing. So you recognize this kind of people. And this is all part of growing. One thing that you must not do is like hate on these people or anybody. As a matter of fact, even hate itself. You shouldn't hate itself or like evil. Don't actually. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you how to live, but I'm just saying that the energies that you give out, you get back. You know, no matter how dire your situation might be, you know, just understand that your tomorrow is very much determined by today, and yesterday very much determined today. You know, these 24 hours are very, very, very crucial to the next 24 hours. You know, that's why one time everything could be going really, really, really bad for you, and then or like they'll be like going like really not good for you, and then like the next moment it's like a jackpot moment. It's like it's just one day and then flip whoop, everything is going good for you. You understand? Everything's going good for you. Your body is feeling nice. You're in touch with your spirit, and like all this, your guardian signs are coming through, and you can actually decipher them. You can actually feel your guardians. You know, while you couldn't feel them before. You understand? You know that kind of level. Yeah, that kind of outcome. You can call it manifestation, but or you can call it breakthrough, but yeah, that's a very good way to think about it too. Like a breakthrough, breaking through a certain barrier. And like who sets this barrier? Those same people who will be telling you no, as Chris Brown likes to say, like, yeah, you know, you he says his biggest competition, and I also say that my only competition is me, you know. That's why if I have to do something and there's like competition and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, you know. I actually don't quite want to study anymore. If I have to like go back and study, it's like I'll study something that's like one of my secluded degrees, you know, where I'll be able to like work alone. And even if I'm working with people, it's like I'm working with people alone, you know, something like that, where there's like not so much competition. I'm not proving people. I'm not against people. I'm like working on a philosophy to prove something that is just like that. You know, like for instance, the timeline. You know, that's my that's much better. And I've been through a lot. And if you watch my other videos, you'll learn about all that. If you watch my next videos, you'll learn all that. And what I learned from Chris Brown is that you will meet a lot of naysayers, you know. But what they mean by naysayers is not okay. The way I think of naysayers, when I was thinking of naysayers, it's like this this yeah, no, those kind of people. But what that actually means, it just means like people who won't give you a pump to your goals, a pump to your dreams. And these are people who are how do I say? You know, that's the punch notion, right? The punch thing that I do. You got your loved ones, né? You got your friends, you got your family, and then you got your relatives. Now, most of the time, these are the relatives, people who are just related to you. Either you only go to the same school, or like you're in the same industry, or you're at the same job, or like you are the same age, or you just happen to be like your experiences just happen to have come and like met, you know. And now these relatives, or like you're by blood or by marriage or something like that, these relatives, instead of supporting your dream, they'll come through as like nay, 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 nay. And the difference that you'll know about these relatives, Because you have relatives that are just relatives. Then you have relatives that are your friends. You have relatives that are your family. And then you have your relatives that are your loves. And then you have your loves that are actually become your family. And then you have your friends that actually become your family. And then you have your other family who are not even related, you know, in some way, like, okay, they're related but not like that close, and then they become real family. These three are the ones who actually practice love for you in action. You understand? Not just by word, because love is an action word. Friendship is an action word. So when you start looking around and just observe, you will the list of the real people, the list of the real love, friends and family really becomes, sometimes it becomes really small. It becomes really, really small, and then you start looking around and start realizing that, wow, so none of you are really family. Most of you are just related. Damn. But don't feel bad. Don't feel bad when it turns out like that. Just know that, they say like the high road, or like the road to success is very lonely. What I say is that it's getting bigger every single day, because people like you, people like me are getting more every day. Except that from where you actually decide that, okay, cool, I got so many relatives, and every move that I make is to every other relative, and they treat me this way, which makes me feel and know and observe that no, they are just relatives. There are those days that you will cut some slack. What are these days? You wake up and you feel like, yeah, I'm a good person and I deserve to feel good, you know? So I'ma pray and forget about everything else. That's been happening all my life. And I'm like 20 years old, 30 years old, or sometimes even 40 years old. And then this same things is being done by the relatives, who you now clearly have observed that they are not family, they are not love, they are not friends. Because family is an action word, love is an action word, um, family is an action word, friends is an action word. Relative is not necessarily an action word. How is this? Because it's not necessarily an act for you to be related to someone. It's like a circumstantial kind of thing. It's like a situation kind of thing. You just happen to be at the same church, and then you're related. You're not be off because of the same church, or you go to the same bar, and then you're related because of that. Or like you're just in the same bus, or in the same school or something, and that's just that. Or you're in the same house, or like you're in the same how do I say, uh you root, or you come from the same marriage, like your grandfathers are like cousins or whatever. you know you don't actually, like, you are not obliged to actually act on that. So these people can like actually turn on you. And then sometimes more than you know, these people are on you, and then you don't even know. You're like, nah, it's okay, man. Even if they did, I'll be better. And so I attract better, you know? And then you'll soon learn your way out of this, you know but until they are like progressive lesson milestones that you should collect before your next move. You might start thinking like, no, it's too late and I'm back at this level. But don't worry when you get to back to level one. Just know that you are back to level one with experience. You understand me? And that's like, if you feel like your dreams are getting stolen, like, ask yourself, what are these dreams about? Is it like to make $1? Yeah? Is it the dreams to make $1? Or is it the dream of how to get a girl? Or is it the dream of how to cook a mean dish? Or is it the dream of how to make a house a home? Or is it the dream of I mean, or is it the dream of improving your grades because you've already achieved so many like good, knowledgeable stuff? Is it that? Yeah. Is it things that are based on knowledge, on intellect? Yeah. Intellectual kind of stuff that's like in your head, that comes from your intuition, because you have to understand that your intuition, which has nothing which has everything to do with what you don't see, touch, or feel, is everything that's coming from the ether to your mind, that feeds your intellect, which is your capacity for knowledge, from which then you'll start to imagine, and then your imagination is what feeds your thoughts, because like you imagine it and then you start thinking about it, or you think about it and then you start imagining it, and then from there you start producing stuff. That's where the good stuff comes in, and then that's where your creations come to life. And then if you just look at this process, you will see that you are just on about a little component in the whole sequence of things that's actually already going on, and it keeps going on. So and this is like a notification to you not to worry about it, because if you knew then how to make $1, like imagine now, like if you put your mind to it, what you can do now. Don't you think like maybe now you can do $2 if you could, like, put together a mean meal then? Now imagine, don't you think like you can probably like put together a healthier mean meal now? Don't you think so? Or like if you had a choice to like choose like the, if you like, if you think you had like, no, I put together a real nice traveling plan and now it's stolen by these demons, like, don't you think like you can like you've narrowed it down now to like something specific if you put your mind to it? Don't you think like it's much better now? Like, no, I wanted 100,000 women or 100,000 men, and like that idea is taken. Don't you feel safer to have your mind locked onto one person? One person that you can give your all, like a certain special girl or a certain special guy, or whichever you prefer. You know, didn't your judgment get clearer? Isn't that clarity like a very good result of this? Knowing that everything is okay, and